And they have the position seemingly covered. It could be a perfect little spray down. It will be. Device gets himself a quick triple. And it was a fantastic defense. TSM make it 7-5.
Yeah, and TSM have had so much success going towards that B bomb site. I think pretty much every afterplant situation they've been in have been successful for TSM, even though it's been even numbers, even though NiP have had nades, what have you. TSM have always been able to set up for those afterplants in a really good way that's allowed them to secure a lot of rounds.
This time around, Get Right's going to line up the smoke for them.
Oliver's actually the one pushing aggressive in banana now.
I'm pretty sure that was a smoke he was doing. He was stood still for a long time in CT spawn, so I'm not too sure. Didn't see the smoke go down though. And Alu will get popped down by Device. Yeah. He's gone straight back to that AWP, but Freiburg challenges out. Cajun B down, so a 1-for-1 trade, but Device also got tagged up pretty heavily in there. You can see down to 16 health. That shotgun, it's always a gamble, but when it works, and it always is impressive. Forest comes around, and suddenly, from a bit of a shoddy buy, NiP pick up the round and take it 6-7.
This is so back and forth right now, and it seems like whenever TSM can't find an opening towards B, they struggle to do anything because their ATAKs haven't really been doing all that much for them. So it's going to be interesting to see if NiP decide to keep putting, 2 to 3 players towards that B bomb side, maybe have Olive push aggressively again. Even though it didn't work the previous time, it's still definitely something viable, and you can see TSM going back to that early banana aggression.
This time it's Freiburg tucked in, Get Right at car, so both of them are in and around there. He's going to show himself a pop, actually they're below him, and it's going to be Get Right that does get the kill. Freiburg with the cover fire as they both back away and barely took any damage actually. Meanwhile TSM took a whole chunk and they're going to have to back away. Exist and Alu, this is the little setup that worked before. Alu with that up, with Exist just tucked into Cubby. The distracting force of Alu will try and draw them in. 79 health, little tag there as he manages to get himself tucked into Boiler, but it's going to be B site that they go towards, and Freiburg and Get Right, they have not moved an inch. They are still right there, and that smoke will delay things. 50 seconds on the clock.
Ooh, if Get Right makes this rotation, that could spell trouble for NiP.
Oh, that flash coming out just at the right time. Freiburg realized the situation, gets just about one down. Spray from Get Right doesn't quite finish the job. He gets himself just the one. And now Dupree and Zimnik's in on site, but Alu's going to get a clean shot. There's no smoke going down there. Simply a molly, because that's really all they have in their box. But it doesn't matter when Dupree pushes on through construction like that. And he makes it difficult. Exist has got to wait for Forest on the rotate. Zimnik's just on 14 health. Dupree is really the major player in this defensive setup here, and they've already passed around him. Are they going to catch him around the back there? Exist not looking, he's going to creep around behind them. The clock is ticking. Dupree will peak, but Exist was expecting it, and now it's all on Zipnix. He's trying to stick the defuse, he's going to get caught out. Forest will find him. It's all square, ladies and gentlemen. 7-7, NiP right back in it.
And there you can see TSM are so good at actually playing out those afterplants, even though that shouldn't be anywhere near as close as that was. TSM just make it work. Freiburg picking up that one frag in banana, that should never happen. Like, he shouldn't be able to do that. So, with the task that he's able to do and the fact that Get Right picks up another frag, should be pretty easy pickings for NiP to do that retake. But
it just goes to show what a difference a map can make. You're looking at the scoreboard there. Both Alu and Carrigan at the bottom with 4 and 5 kills, yet they were at the top of the scoreboard over on Mirage a moment ago. Forrest, though, with the opener, manages to get himself a quick, straightforward kill.
And TSM trying their luck on A once again.
They're going to push on through, but that flash will work wonders. It caught out Cajun B. He was flashed up, but Carrigan manages to just run on through the smoke with that Tech 9. Forrest quick to respond, quick to react, and it was a quick round overall for NiP. 8-7, good first half overall. Both teams will be happy with that, as even as you can get. Push on through, but that flash will work wonders. It caught out Cajun B. He was flashed up, but Carrigan manages to just run on through the smoke with that Tech 9. Forrest quick to respond, quick to react, and it was a quick round overall for NiP. 8-7, good first half overall. Both teams will be happy with that, as even as you can get. Push on through, but that flash will work wonders. It caught out Cajun B. He was flashed up, but Carrigan manages to just run on through the smoke with that Tech 9. Forrest You have to respond quick to react. It was a quick round overall for NiP. 8-7, good first half overall. Once again, push on through, but that flash wonders back to TSM. KGB, he was flashed up, but Carrigan manages to just run it around. We now take 9 Forest side. You have to respond quick to react. It was a quick round overall for NiP. 8-7, good first half overall. Once again, push on through, but that flash wonders back to TSM. KGB, he was flashed up, but Carrigan manages to just run it around. We now take 9 Forest side. You have to respond quick to react.
You know, it's a cliche, but the pistol is going to play such a big part here.
Well, pistol once again playing a pivotal role in what could be a giant second half for both teams. NiP, will they be sticking together? Who knows? Rumors are rife. TSM on the other hand, will they fall prey to NiP once again? It's all about Get Right this time, pushing in. He's the man, the Tech-9, the raid boss, pushing on through. KGB caught out by Freiburg. Device tries to go aggressive, but he's forced to back away on balcony as NiP start to swarm in towards A site. Device gets a peek, but he doesn't manage to find Forest as the head is popped. And Carrigan, oh, he's not expecting the man behind. It's Exist, who's not going to miss. He's been on point throughout this semi-final, no doubt about it. And Zipnix picks himself up a kill, and not a single man from NiP will fall. It's 9-7, and now the USPs, the SMGs, they're all being picked up. USPs? Nobody's picking a USP up. Actually,
would be a weird
Freiburg did.
Yeah. But yeah, there we saw NiP just kind of going with full force, having Exist drop the Tech-9 for Get Right, then just picking up a smoke. The rest of them going with Kevlar and just out shooting. That was the second flawless pistol round NiP has had this best of 3. And TSM, with an already apparently shaky CT side, they're gone off to a rocky start. But look at this 4-man stack here from TSM on the B bomb side.
I wonder if they're going to walk into it. Forest has found Carrigan. He was the sole defender over on A side. And that means Forest is going to go looking, but he's very cautiously doing it because, unbeknown to him, there is a big stack over on B side. But I think Exist might get Freiburg to flash through here. They have smoked off CT spawn.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if NiP actually just sacrificed Freiburg here.
Well, look at Forest. They're actually through now. Now they're going to start to realize, they're like, wait, guys, there's nobody here. And I think we're going to see Alu collect the bomb. Yeah, Freiburg's already backing away. I think they've realized it was a 4-stack, and Freiburg's just going to try and pin them. Forest is coming around to get the angle. But it doesn't matter. Freiburg's just going to keep on pushing. There's another one just tripped around the side. That's going to give them a weapon, but they're going with the bomb. Yeah, this is... I mean, that was risky play from NiP, but you know what? They've been doing that all tournament, and it's 10-7. They know better than we do.
Yeah. You know, normal logic tells you you don't want to run into the stack of the other team, but I guess in this case it doesn't really matter. Freiburg doing a good job with that P90.
I guess when you've got SMGs, you want them. You want the kills.
You want the kills, yeah. You want to get some more money. And, you know, also Forest being able to get into that kind of a position potentially would have been able to trade pretty easily if Freiburg goes down.
Oh, Forest is moving fast. He's straight up the top of mid. He's come around the corner, but he's going straight into the CZ75 at Device. And that will be a UMP going in towards his hand. Now Freiburg's going to switch it round. He tries to quicken up the pace with Exist, tries to draw the fire, tries to draw the smoke at Banana, but you can see TSM holding rock steady, keeping their positions. A little boost from Carrigan. There's the smoke. as they ready themselves to burst around the corner.
Rotation has already happened from TSM as well,
Yeah.
so NiP might be in for a bit of a rough surprise.
Device is ready. Exist is going to be the first man to peek. Tries to get the little shoulder glimpse around the corner, but he does manage to find Carragher, but he's quickly responding. Exist and Freiburg both dropped there, and that UMP of Device that he managed to collect off the corpse of Forest all the way back at the top of mid has maybe backfired on NiP, as both Alu and Get Right, the sole two standing. Alu with the AK. Still very rigid defense from TSM as they hold. Don't peek. Device is going to get a look around. Alu's looking the other way. Get Right's about to jump and peek, but he gets caught out, and that's going to be quickly caught in the back, and that is TSM picking up the round. That was just pistols for TSM. That is a vital round for them, and a very tricky situation for NiP because it's left them in a bit of a shoddy buy situation.
Yeah, and they're actually going to go for the buy as well. Normally, when you force buy, you want to do it because you can mess with the economy of the opposing team, but seeing how TSM picked up an eco round with no investment, that's going to leave them in a pretty okay state regardless. But NiP, they just want to put the pressure on. And I guess that goes very well with what we've seen them do previously in this best of three already.
Forest going for the stack there. They've boosted up. I think it's Alu that's boosted possibly. Well, Get Right was the lead man, but that's been changed around. Grenades getting thrown out. They're continuing to check out that sandbags, and that's a spot that NiP used almost every single round, but we haven't seen TSM go in there yet. They haven't got the economy to get those deep smokes either to force NiP back just yet, because this is their first big round. Freiburg continues to cause himself a nuisance over on A side, while Get Right does the same on B, but are yet to find an angle, because TSM are doing very good at hiding around the corners.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job of just using their nades at the right times as well. Even with the Molotov going down, TSM still have one more smoke to use for that B entrance. So it's going to be really hard, and it's not going to be a lot of time left for NiP to do anything towards B if that's where they want to go. But it looks like they've changed their mind a bit. So we have 3 people pushing up towards middle here. You can see Get Right rotating over. Seems like it's going to be the A middle from NiP.
But it's a triple hold from TSM on A side. Dupree just dodging in and around pit, and Forest will find him, but Cajun B is still back there. I'm not too sure if they realize they have. Device gets himself another, but is it going to be enough? Cajun B goes for the reload. Alu manages to find him. Just 5 health remains, and he gets the plant down. Zip.
It really is, and so yeah, it seems like
A glimpse at Banana, making sure that Carragher hadn't gone too aggressive around the back of him, and that it's partially forced NiP to back off a little and slow the pace down, even though they have got these Tech 9s.
Garrett manages to get his hands onto Cajun's Colt as well, so that gives him a bit more firing power right now. And Device is holding mid alone, so he could easily get overpowered here, especially with that Molotov.
Oh, he gets burnt out. Get Right does manage to land that shot. It was Exist that went down, but it's a 3-on-3 still, so entirely doable by NiP here. Alu gets that little glimpse towards Archway, and we do see it's Zipnix again, that little peek around library. Caught a glimpse of him, knows that it's there. Now Dupree is well aware that he's going to get caught out in pit, but that was a great little second check from Zipnix. Dupree not to be cleared out. Zipnix with the support. Fantastic defensive setup in the end from TSM.
Yeah, really well handled, and it could have gotten really scary there. Once NiP managed to get a hold on 2 Colts, I'm actually kind of surprised that they split up like they did, instead of just going as a 3-man group towards the quad side.
So all square. NiP, such a valiant performance so far throughout this tournament. Maybe the last hurrah, who knows what will happen in the coming weeks. But at the moment, TSM starting to return to form, starting to return to the glory that they've started to pick up the last couple of months, and hoping that they can reach this final spot. Or will NiP do the unthinkable and put their last hurrah into that final? Who knows? Best of 5. Anything could happen right now, but TSM using a lot of smoke here. A lot of mollies coming out from NiP as well, so a lot of grenades, a lot of firepower exchange, but nothing yet to connect.
Not much happening right now, and still smokes in the hands of TSM players towards B, and that's going to be so tough for NiP to actually be able to bait out enough nades from the TSM side, because they really seem to be wanting to go towards the B bomb side, similar to what TSM did. But if they can't bait out the smokes, it's going to be really tough to actually get in there. You can see Kerrigan still having a smoke in his hand.
And there it is, 39 seconds on the clock. Forrest has to be the man that completely pulls this apart. He's got to get around the side. Zipnik's actually on the rotate, coming around Speedway. Forrest is going to get a little glimpse of him. Oh, that was such close timing. Kerrigan does get right as they pushed on through, but now the B-bomb site has been cleared out and they've smoked themselves out of it. So Plant will come down, Ali will get that in. Zipnik's now in a 4-on-3 position. They're actually just pushed on through. Very aggressive stuff from TSM here. I don't think NiP have quite got their defensive setup. Does get spotted. Freiberg gets tagged up heavily. Doesn't manage to land the shot. And surely that gives TSM the sight because Exist and Alu are completely the other side. So now it's going to be 4 members of TSM swarming on in there. They're going to try and line up with the shots, but not one of them lands. And TSM take the site with ease.
Very surprised to see NiP actually committing with 2 people outside of the B-bomb site. Sure, one guy there to kind of just be a distraction for the better part of a retake, that I can completely understand. Putting Freiberg alone to pretty much defend the entire B-bomb site, that's a bit more risky, or too risky for my opinion.
Maybe just keep the one in new box. It's almost the safest option always, really, but you never know what goes through their minds. TSM now in the lead. And it is potentially a healthy lead because as we see NiP back on the Tech-9s.
Yeah.
And the speed and power and the aggression that we've been seeing from NiP throughout this first map and the second map has been lacking, and Inferno is one of the maps that will do that. It will sap it out of you, it will slow things down, and Device not being caught out by the games of Get Right, but Freiberg will quickly catch him out there. You can only catch them or fool them once. Cajun B is going to be in Alu's face there, point blank range, couldn't miss that one. And now, of course, the rest of the team come looking. Freiberg gets himself one, does get taken down, and TSM, Cajun B will absolutely get the spray down. 12-10, NiP starting to force everything.
Yeah. Up on Alu now as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. If TSM continue to play with this aggressive style towards Banana, where they smoke up the bottom, I can definitely see Alu potentially getting a pick if they're early to do the boost there, but he seems like he has other plans right now. Going up second mid here.
Dupree was actually about to join him. Exist has gone very aggressive here. I think he knows that Kerrigan's in the corner. That molly will catch him. They're going to keep the shots rattling out. They've forced him out. They do manage to get the catch on towards Kerrigan, but it's quickly answered by Device. Meanwhile, down in mid, Zipnik's and Dupree have managed to rotate in towards B site, so Exist and Freiberg not going to be able to get in there just yet. Alu's still holding with that all, unable to find anyone, because that is the big issue of Inferno. There is a lot of smoke, and those orbs sometimes are not that useful.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue, and that's kind of why I expected them to pick it up to kind of counter the aggression in Banana from TSM. Instead, it's just kind of been roaming around and not really doing all that much. Well, TSM are giving NiP a lot of space to work with here, though, and if the rotation between B here, which is Sipnix, goes down, then that could spell really big trouble for TSM.
Did he catch Freiberg as he passed on by? Cajun B's down in pit. Device on site. He's going to get found. And now Zipnix, they have to clear out Cajun B because he's a real nuisance. Exist gets him down, but now he's in a 1-on-2. Big tag on towards Zipnix there, but he still manages to get the shot. A great couple of kills from Zipnix and Cajun B once again to carry TSM heavily into the lead.
Zipnix can thank his lucky stars that the 3-pole was in the way right there. Otherwise, he's dead. And right now, it's that small of a margin that it's actually, you know, working in the way of TSM right now. And, well, NiP force buying, even without the bomb plant, they're kind of committing everything they have into this right now, and they have the money loss bonus going in their favor. And, well, they're starting to get to the point where they have to pick up rounds, and you can see TSM pushing so aggressively with no smokes.
Well, Kerrigan's going all the way down bottom mid, but he does get caught out by Alu. Maybe a little too aggressive. Device is also pushed down with the AWP through the smoke, and he quickly backtracks. Wasn't able to get caught out by NiP, though. But that's forced Zipnix to back up over to B. And that's going to give the numbers advantage to NiP over on A side. But Cajun B has been an absolute solid rock down and around pit. With Dupree backing him up, do not rule them out just yet, as NiP are really starting to be up against here. I feel if TSM can get 14, it's almost an insurmountable challenge for NiP. It's going to be Dupree getting around, gets one, gets two, and gets out alive. And that is a real problem. NiP, they had the numbers advantage, but they've just been caught napping there, completely caught out in the back. And now Zipnix with the rotation is given a give the advantage very much into the hands of TSM. They have the angles, they have the positions, and they simply need to pick off NiP as they make this push. Dupree gets caught out by the nade, but Xyp9x is still alive. Cajun B and Xyp9x have been an absolute solid rock in defense, but Geroi will get one. Xyp9x on site will catch out onto another, but Geroi gets taken down. Xyp9x once again, the birthday boy, is performing for TSM. A lot of questions were put on his position going into Cologne, but he has delivered once again for TSM.
Yeah, and he's been instrumental. Every time he's rotated over towards that A-bomb side, he's been crucial to shutting down either the guy flanking around from arch area for NiP, or just coming in with really timely kills that's saving, you know, one of the last defenders on TSM, either in pit or on site. He's been doing a massive job so far.
Last roll of the dice for NiP. Tech9s, they have to try and force something, but their speed play has been lacking. They can't manage to get the rushes, the smokes through, and Cajun B, the confidence started to show now for TSM. They're starting to make more and more plays. Device not able to land the shot, but will get out untouched and lays down the smoke to cover his retreat, but it's NiP. They're going to push on through. Carrigan, he's got himself tucked up in porch. And NiP realize this is too risky a situation. Their semi-finals, their careers all on the line here, but Carrigan on porch, untouched, unpressured, will get himself a double. Device pops around the side. It's beautiful for TSM. They take it to match point.
Match point it is, and, well, double ups coming up on the T side for NiP, and that's something, definitely not something you don't see every day. A lot of nades to work with, but as of right now, NiP have had plenty of positions where they've been in a favorable situation, but they haven't been able to capitalize on it because TSM have been doing such a good job with, you know, a man down or something to that effect and still gotten out ahead. So this is very worrisome for NiP.
Is this it? Is this the last we see of the current NiP? I wonder, as TSM look to put the sword and the boot down, as it was a very close first half. 8-7 was the score. It was NiP that had the lead, but they've only picked up 2 rounds on the T side so far, and TSM somewhat maybe questionable. I don't know, CT side, they certainly questioned it themselves, but they have been magnificent so far. And they have covered everything that they needed to. Cajun B and Xyp9x especially, that duo has worked wonders, and Device, he's landing the shots. Everything is going TSM's way. Just 2 men remain for Ninjas in Pajamas. It's Exist and Freiburg. Exist gets in, gets one, but it's quickly caught out. And Freiburg, the other side of the map, miles away, will get taken down. It's Team Solo Mid, ladies and gentlemen, that will go through to the finals here in Dubai.
No, talk about a turnaround. Because after seeing that first map on Dust 2, they got absolutely destroyed by NiP, made it back with a really strong Mirage game, and that CT side that they were talking about looking shaky, it looked pretty okay to me.
It looked pretty strong to me, that's for sure. NiP just, in the end, they seem to run out of gas. I think that's pretty much all we can hope for, but great performance from TSM, resilient performance after going down 16-7 on Dust 2. They managed to strike straight back, 16-8 on Mirage and 16-10 there to close it out on Inferno. When we looked at the map pool, we had to really give it to TSM. They were clearly the favorites coming into this one, and they do make it to that finals. The question is, can they now go all the way? It's Virtus.pro or Fnatic that await them. I don't think they're going to mind who it is.
No, I think they're, you know, if it ends up being Fnatic, I think they're going to be hungry for revenge. They've lost the last best of 5 they played versus them, so I guess it's time to turn things around. So that's going to be incredibly exciting to see if that ends up being the case. But I think we have an interview ready with TSM on the stage.
You do indeed have an interview ready, and I am with a man who needs very little introduction, but it fills me with great pride to do so. Carrigan, how are you feeling, sir?
I feel good. It's finally good to be in a big tournament final, so we are very happy with that.
Now, obviously, NiP was never going to be easy for you guys. You know them incredibly well. You play them, you know, almost like brothers. What's it like going up against them here in this situation at this level and in the ESL ESEA?
I think we were up 8-0 in the matchup and maps, but this NiP at this tournament is completely different. You can feel the way they're playing with the power, and they're more unpredictable in my opinion. That makes me hard to read sometimes, especially as CT. We are all rotating, stuff like that. So basically it's a new NiP you saw at this tournament, and that was hard to counter in my opinion. We just had to play our own game and hit the shots when they finally came at us.
Now, obviously, we're in the same hotel. I've seen you around. I've seen the team around. You guys have been very calm, kind of enjoying yourself. How has preparation been for you for this event?
I mean, preparation have been so-so because we had the Fragbite tournament, a major, and we had like all small vacations. But we have small things we need to change the whole map, and we need to change that in the tournament. So basically, it was hard to prepare for NiP. So we had to prepare for our own style, our own game, how we want to attack the game, and that's what happened today. So, and basically we got outplayed on Dust 2. We didn't hit our shots. We all rotated too much, and they took the advantage of that, and that's why it was 16-7 on Dust 2 first map.
So I have to ask you. You mentioned there you got outplayed. What do you say to the team? What are you guys communicating to each other in a moment like that?
I mean, it was like in phase of finals, the first match against NiP. We just had no chance in the first map. I also feel like we start very slowly sometimes, and the communication is bad, lose the wrong round. So basically just kept the head high up, and then we just knew we had to win Mirage to get back to the game, and then Inferno was a coin flip, and this time went to our side.
Now, I will ask you, because this crowd's been rooting for you and they've really been supportive of you. When you came out, it was a standing ovation. They're here waiting for you right now. What's that like for you?
It's amazing. I love to play on stages and in front of crowds like this, and this is why you play the game. This is the passion about and the pressure from the crowd. It's just amazing. So thank you guys.
Great, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I'm sure you want to get back to the team, and I'm sure we'll see you again. Guys that will have lots to talk about will, of course, be the gentlemen on the analyst desk, and they are led by a man called Machine.
Thanks very much, Sean. It's good to hear Karrigan kind of calling Inferno a coin flip, the same kind of title we dubbed it, considering how successful NiP have been when they're in that cornered beast mode. You kind of highlighted it. So good to see that TSM had the same read on things, but they do manage to pick up victory in the end. And I'm going to head over to the Dane to start things off. TSM picking up the victory there. It's gonna feel good. It's also gonna be kind of bittersweet to see NiP out of the tournament for you.
I mean, yeah, especially considering how well they've been playing in this tournament. It sort of feels like, you wanted to see if they could carry it the full way, because that's actually what we're used to. We used to see NiP struggle in group stages, just barely make it to the playoffs, and then just go, just explode into the finals, Seemed like they're about to do something similar here, but I think it was also somewhat predictable. I feel like, especially once they lost the second map there on Mirage, if you are playing that loose, we've got no pressure style, once you lose the second map, it's very hard to get back in. So it's not a huge surprise, I think. And TSM, luckily, I was talking about measuring how far they've come since they're choking on semis days, and it feels like they've made it a fair bit further. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and I think, even just looking at the 3 maps that were played, despite the result on Dust 2, I still think all 3 of those maps favored TSM. Karrigan mentioned they started slow on that first map. He notes they have a tendency to do that. That's something they've got to be careful of moving into the finals for whoever they play tomorrow. But either way, just so much for NiP to handle. And it was great, because that magic, that get right and force combination, even Alu had a great tournament, and Exist chimed in at some great parts. Freiburg had all of them stepped up and had some crucial kills at crucial times, and it gave you that feeling like there was that hope, there was that magic that was about to shine through, and then TSM just ends it there. One of the best teams in the world.
Tons of fun, I think, on this final map to see Device playing with the AWP, because he was playing like a very fluid style, sort of almost like JW-esque, just like free to run around, free to take shots, and not afraid to be like super mobile, and just had very good mechanics with it. So that's nice. I think Device is actually like a better AWP on Inferno than he is on a bunch of other maps where AWPing should be easier.
Well, who else has that reputation is Alu.
Yeah,
a lot of people say that Alu on Inferno is his playground.
Yeah, I don't know why that is, but it's a lot of fun to see.
There's a lot of question marks sometimes surrounding Alu and the way he can kind of bring frags in odd occasions, and sometimes not in the occasions where you'd expect him to thrive, I think is something that people have mentioned as of late. Another point I want to bring up now is about TSM, where they go from here. Because TSM have managed to get themselves into, he said himself, it's been a while since we've been in the grand final of a high prize pool tournament. They've struggled at the majors. They've been kind of had this curse of 3rd, 4th, despite being a team that have been placed in the top 2 regularly. Can I kind of poke you guys a little bit for why you think that is? Why are TSM sometimes a stranger to these grand finals, despite being such a highly regarded team, Moses?
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm not 100% sure, because we see a lot of teams going through that struggle. We saw Na'Vi reach that peak, and now they're on a decline, and then we saw Cloud9 reach that peak, and they're on a decline. And outside of really Fnatic. I mean, there's no team that's been really consistent in recent memory. Virtus Pro just finally are on an upswing now. It's something that all teams are struggling with at the moment, is finding that consistency. Only Fnatic's really solved that puzzle.
That conundrum.
I mean, I think part of the explanation also just has to be that within the field of top 6 to 8 teams, we have like a really good representation of this tournament. The skill level is so high that you can't just focus on 2 teams and say if we beat them, then as long as we make it out of the group stage, we can, if we meet them in the quarterfinals or semis or grand finals, we'll have a decent shot. You have to sort of prepare for everyone, and since everyone has such a different style, Virtus Pro and Envy, just to take 2, play such a different style that it's very hard if you're TSM and you have to sort of prepare for both. There's a chance you'll come up short against one or both, really. And if TSM had been Envy this time around, there could be a chance they could have got knocked out earlier.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off there. I mean, at this level, you're not going to beat teams solely on skill. You're not going to beat teams solely on tactics in best of 3s. I mean, you can't just emphasize one, and when you're going up in these maps, I mean, all these styles, like you said, are just clashing, and sometimes it's going to go your way, and there's just so many talented players that can make things happen, and it all depends on the timing of when those big plays come out. I mean, in one round, it can just ruin your economy, decimate your economy, and all of a sudden you're down 2 more. So, I mean, it's just big-time players showing up, and that's kind of part of what I think is a lot of inconsistency here.
Yeah, I saw you raise your hand. Was there something you wanted to add?
Well, just to say that this is exactly
me.
Just to say that this is what we were all hoping for. I mean, we've been talking about NiP and sort of like the vintage NiP and where they're coming back and so like. You got to remember as well, in the vintage NiP, their 87-0 record. They were playing teams where there was only one other team who even looked like they were remotely close to beating them, and that was the French Very Games team. So for Very Games, they just had to focus on beating a couple of other teams to try and get to beat NiP in the finals, and even they eventually actually ran into a problem where they would start losing to other teams like Copenhagen Wolves or Western Wolves because they were so focused on beating NiP that suddenly they opened up weaknesses to other teams. Well, now it's like that for everybody. If you start to feel like, well, okay, we're losing a lot to Envy, let's try and really focus on how to beat them, then suddenly you run into a different team like Cloud9 to show up, and they are way more prepared. It's a really, really hard game. That's also why I keep sort of pressing this point that you need more than one person in the team to look at demos. You need like a small army of people because the competition level is so high now. Yeah,
I mean, that's a really good point because Cloud9, when they reached those consecutive finals, I mean, no one expected them in the Pro League to do damage. No one was really watching out for them, and then they had a great performance. And then they had another one, and then all of a sudden now, they're traveling a lot. They don't have time to do the scouting, and every team can look at all these different, amazing best of 3s they've had against really, really good teams and really dissect that. Yeah. And that's when they kind of catch up. So it's this constant back and forth. And I think part of the reason why Fnatic is one team that's been so stable is they're a hard team to read because they have players that just defy the rules, doing crazy things that you don't expect to come out.
And they do actually have more than just Vugo. I think they have a couple of people more who are sort of, if not employed
behind the scenes.
Yeah, who are
just like demo watchers, taking notes and passing it on.
It makes a huge difference.
That actually rings a bell. I remember talking to Devilwalk when I had him on the desk, and he was saying, I can't tell you what he does, but Pronax has a very special way of watching demos efficiently. And it was like, there's a whole lot of lines of code he puts in, and there's a way he does it with notepads and stuff that he can like quickly pull all the information he needs very quickly. I reckon there's a real art to this that probably goes unnoticed and unsaid amongst the high-level CS.
Yeah, it's Pronax who's good at it. You probably got to look at Sean Gares. I know Sean has always talked about he spends multiple hours on one demo, looking for things, and it's evident when we've seen him cast at events in the past. Even I'm sometimes amazed by his ability. He knows these tendencies that, sometimes when I'm watching matches, I don't even think to look out for what Sean's noticing, and that's part of what makes him such a good strategic in-game leader.
There are tons of cool examples also on other teams, and we bring up all these great in-game leaders, but we've had lately CLG with Cutler. When we talk about Inferno, Cutler had some really, really cool games lately where he managed to call CT side Inferno. I mean, if not flawlessly, then pretty damn close to, maybe calling correctly 12 out of 15 rounds. That's super cool. That takes hard work, but when it pays off and you see it work, it's really difficult. It's really cool. But then you got to do that not just against one team, but 10 teams, and that's where the trouble lies.
And over multiple maps.
Yeah, on multiple maps.
There's a deep pool, and I mean, talking of deep pools, one of the teams that has the deepest and the biggest, strongest, scariest map pool is Fnatic, and they're going to be going up against Virtus Pro straight after the break. A reminder though about the Score Esports app. Do be sure to check that one out for both a catch-up of what you may have missed earlier on in the tournament, or what could be coming up both today in this very match or coming up tomorrow for our grand finals. Who will join TSM? We will provide the answer in another best of 3 straight after this.